The trophy that symbolizes the NBA championship gets awarded tonight. For 9 months, from the start of training camp to now, two teams have practiced diligently, traveled nearly endlessly, and played on occasion flawlessly. Which team deserves it more can be debated. That answer is totally subjective. But one thing is absolute. One game on this early summer's night in Texas will determine a champion.
Don't you wanna go for a ride? Just keep your hands inside and make the most out of life. Now don't you take it for granted. And I'm steady, but I'm starting to shake. And I don't know how much more I can take. Well, this is it now. Everybody get down. This is all I can take. This is how my heart breaks. You take a hit now. You feel it break down. Make you stay wide awake. This is how my heart breaks. This is how my heart breaks. This is how my heart breaks.
Oh yeah, there are some Piston fans here tonight, but they are vastly outnumbered by the Spur fans, who hope this is the beginning of an all-night celebration. And as you come into the SBC Center, it is so loud you cannot hear yourself thinking as we get set for the 7th game of the 2005 NBA Finals, the Detroit Pistons against the San Antonio Spurs. I'm Al Michaels along with UB Brown, Michelle Tafoya, and Stuart Scott will be handling the sidelines tonight. And a lot of people thought at the beginning of the series we had the two best teams in the league in the finals. So here we go now to a 7th game. The first 4 games in this series were all routs. The home team won each. The average margin of victory was 21 points. But Game 5 was a classic. Robert Horry winning in overtime. Game 6 was great. And so tonight, the 7th game, a champion will be determined. Perhaps an individual legacy will be forever determined. And certainly the legacy of the 2005 NBA Finals will be determined. As I turn now to UB, let's talk first about Detroit. The other night you said Richard Hamilton in Game 6, he'd be the key. He scored 23. You were prescient. You were right on. What about tonight? What does Detroit have to do to win?
Well, the big thing is they must stay hot in their shooting. Can they shoot 47% again from the field in back-to-back road games? Then also the three-point shooting was magnificent. They made 8. Well, in the previous 5 games, they only made 8. Picked up 8 easy points. Then the X factor, Tayshaun Prince, along with Rasheed Wallace. In the first, you can see it right there, they only averaged right there 19 points, 10 points or less between them, but then they had a strong Game 6. Whenever you say 29 points, 10 rebounds, 4 block shots, you're doing the yeoman's job.
Now, as far as the Spurs are concerned, clearly the centerpiece is Tim Duncan. He seeks his 3rd Finals MVP trophy. But what about the rest of the Spurs? What's their recipe tonight for a win?
Well, I think you got to get back to Game 1, Al, and that is Game 1 and 2. They were out there playing to their maximum potential. Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, they came in with the points, 61 points, shooting 54% from the field. Then a drop-off, not only of the 13 points, but how about the 42% field goal percentage? But the real pressure is on this team to make their foul shots. In Games 5 and 6, they're only shooting 59% in close contests. And then Tim Duncan must step up. You cannot shoot 9 for 21 in this game tonight. We've got to come in with big numbers. Should be interesting.
If you're a sports fan, there are no more delicious words than Game 7. Let's find out more about the Spurs, and we go to Michelle Tafoya. Michelle.
Well, Al, speaking with Coach Greg Popovich before the game, he acknowledged there may be some minor changes in strategy tonight, but he really wanted his team to focus on just 2 things here in Game 7. Number 1, come to play, come to compete. Don't think about the game, just come to play and play with ferocity. He called that his players' best ally. And number 2, half-court defense. He said his team played very well in the half-court defense in games 1 and 2, which they won, but they haven't been the same since. And he thinks a return to that will result in some much-needed transition offense. But speaking with Manu Ginobili, there's one more key ingredient. Manu told me we cannot forget about Tim Duncan in the fourth quarter. Now over to Stuart Scott, who's with the Pistons.
Thanks a lot, Michelle. True, no team has ever won games 6 and 7 on the road to win the finals. But the Pistons not only don't care about stats right now, as far as they're concerned, this is not about winning 2 games. Ben Wallace told me this is 1 game. It's like college. 1 game to win the championship. Rip Hamilton called it urgent. When I said, yo, Rip, wasn't game 6 urgent? He said, yeah, it was urgency to stay alive. This is urgency to win it all. It's bigger. The Pistons as a team are very relaxed, even loose. Nobody seems nervous, as Tim Duncan admitted he was, but Rasheed Wallace doesn't even buy that. She told me, Tim Duncan ain't nervous. There's no way. I've never seen him nervous. When I asked Sheed if he was ready, he smiled, a real big smile, and he said in the voice of a comedian, are we ready? Yeah, we're ready. Then he started laughing, Al, and just put his headphones back on.
Thank you, Stuart. Well, in about 3 hours, we'll know everything. You know, kids dream about playing in a Game 7. That doesn't mean a 64-year-old coach and a 56-year-old coach, best pals, can't dream about it as well. That big hug, they will have lifetime memories. Obviously, they've had some, and now tonight they meet in a Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and here we go. Joey Crawford to put the ball in the air. Dick Pavetta and Eddie F. Rush are the other officials. And San Antonio controls the opening tip with Tony Parker bringing the ball into the front court. He's picked up by Chauncey Billups. Ginobili is guarded by Tayshaun Prince. Duncan comes way outside with Wallace on him and then puts it up off the glass.
You're looking for that early, Al. What you want is every time that you get a switch or you get in a help situation, get the ball to Duncan early and let him operate in the clock.
Tayshaun Prince is guarded by Ginobili.
Now, this is a big matchup in this game tonight.
And Manu bodies him, and the foul is called here by Dick Pavetta. So go back to the basket, the opening basket of the game, Duncan.
Well, what I like to see there on that screen, Rasheed Wallace had to help on the dribbler, Ginobili. That freed up Duncan for a second. Anytime that you're running at Duncan, he can make the jumper or he can take you off the dribble.
Now Rasheed Wallace, one of the stars the other night, over Duncan, and he has that height advantage, and he's been able to exploit it at early junctures in games throughout the finals.
That time and time again, Al, especially from that spot on the floor.
Ginobili stops and hits.
The Ginobili-Prince matchup could dictate the game. Ginobili needs to create and score big, and Prince needs just to be consistent and force Ginobili into a difficult night shooting.
And they look like Bowen and Hamilton underneath on that sequence. Now Rasheed Wallace for 3. That doesn't go. Parker gets it for the Spurs. Loves to penetrate. Goes all the way. Has to dish it back out, and that's a turnover. And Detroit now with a 3-on-1. And he got away with traveling. He missed the basket, but they get it back.
3-on-1 situation. All he had to do was give it up, get it back. The defender would have had to commit.
Ben Wallace, an MVP candidate in this series.
Well, there's got to be premium on the defensive rebounding here tonight. Detroit's having a shade under 15 a game, and then at the other end, San Antonio 13.
Parker, a runner from the lane, and Big Ben off the glass.
Easy points tonight will be the key in this game. Whether you get them on second shots or whether you get them out in transition.
Billups, who had a 34-point game in Game 5. Prince has come alive in the last couple of games of the series after a very slow start. Wallace works on Mohammed, and Wallace has given them far more offense in the finals than anyone could have dreamed.
Well, Ben Wallace is shooting 56%. Now, a lot of his shots are on second shot attempts cutting to the basket, but he has shot a very, very high percentage facing the basket. Now that was a difficult release.
Parker stopping in the lane, has that one blocked. Hamilton quickly over to Prince. Hamilton is free. Duncan sends it out to Parker. Bruce Bowen handling the ball. He's going to drive, and Bruce Bowen will draw the foul.
Yeah, good call by Joey Crawford. A definite bump. You can see when the guys have the basketball tonight, they are not going to let them maul one another at the defensive end.
Bowen to inbound. Early substitution as Brent Barry comes into the game, and they give Parker an early rest. For Popovich, less than 4 minutes into the game, goes to the bench, and there goes Ben Wallace all the way in for the lay-in.
Once again, a deflection. San Antonio must play tougher in the post area and in the paint. You must be strong. This is a team that relies on shot blocking, deflections, forced turnovers to get out in the open floor.
Parker comes back in. So what was that there? Was it just a case of Popovich wanting to talk to Parker? He had him out for 15 seconds.
Absolutely.
Puts him back in. Barry sits down. Now Ginobili inside the arc.
You can see that Prince is honoring the quickness off the dribble of Ginobili in his first two possessions. But Ginobili will give you that rocker move and step back. He's a very confident guy in the perimeter.
Hamilton off the curl, and that's his bread and butter play. Detroit by 4 early. Duncan passed up a shot from 15. Mohammed gets the rebound, can't get the bounce. Duncan loses it. Back come the Pistons.
Now that's the value of a point guard who's getting you 5 rebounds. Chauncey Billups kept that ball alive to knock it out.
Billups, 3-point attempt. Duncan with the rebound.
I like the pace. This is San Antonio pace. Now, for Detroit, they just got to take advantage of the 3-on-2, 4-on-3s and get the easy baskets.
Mohammed and Ben Wallace on him. Rashid is on Duncan. And out of bounds, that one will go to San Antonio.
Detroit's defense has been just what you would expect it to be. They're trying to play and clog up off the dribble to the basket penetration by Parker and Ginobili. Then they've done a very good job in holding San Antonio to one shot attempt.
Fresh clock is Bowen inbounds. Duncan collects it. And over Rasheed Wallace, and Big Ben underneath. But all he needs is that one left hand. Like a big claw. And you got Billups posting down low and scoring through Parker.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do about that. Billups can take Parker at will. He not only has a size advantage, but he also has 20 pounds on him. Billups plays extremely strong with his back to the basket. Now down inside, anytime he gets in there, Chauncey Billups, he can finish, and you're afraid to foul him because of the high percentage.
Just before the game, the two guys in their respective huddles, and right now, UB Detroit's on a 10-2 run, up by 6.
All right, mainly because San Antonio is struggling with their shooting. This is a game tonight. It's all about poise, and it's all about character of the individuals, and then execution as a team.
6:43 to go in the opening period. Ginobili to inbound. And he gets it back. Robert Horry has come into the game for the first time. And underneath is Duncan to put it back in.
It's the premium thing at both ends of the floor. You must take care of your defensive board. Both teams are excellent getting their second shot attempts and then completing the shot.
Four-point game. Hamilton is short. Barry for the rebound. Now to Ginobili.
Bowen chased Hamilton from one side of the lane to the other and then had to negotiate around a staggered screen.
Ginobili gets a little bit of help. Back out it comes to Barry. And a little 12-footer from the lane goes.
That was good defense and a closeout by Ben Wallace. He chased Barry off of that three-point shot. Barry being a high percentage three-pointer, over 40. He forced him down inside. You'd rather give up 2 than 3.
Rasheed Wallace. Joey Crawford signals a call away from the ball. Go back to Brent Barry's play, the runner in the lane.
Now you see right there, Ben Wallace came out and he forced Barry to make a very difficult shot. I like what we're seeing in the refereeing. They are not allowing the defender to grab and hold on any kind of movement across the lane before they come off the screen.
That foul on Ginobili, and so he has to take a seat in the first quarter. 2 fouls, and the coach just about compelled to get a straight out of there. And there's the block, and Barry comes back the other way.
They'll go Ben Wallace on Horry, but then great block by Duncan.
And Horry responds at the other end.
Whenever you play San Antonio, they run their trailer right to the defensive arc in the lane. If you play behind that guy and he makes a catch, that's an easy score.
Tied at 12. Rasheed Wallace missing, and Parker is there underneath.
He was off balance. That time Duncan was right up on top of him.
Duncan clearing it out. Duncan and Wallace. And a foul here on Rasheed.
Right there, Ben Wallace is taking Horry off the dribble. Duncan comes from the other side. Now right here, this is just a strong move. You see, they're going to be consistent now. They're not going to let you grab, so you must adjust.
6 on the shot clock. Barry gets stripped on his way into the lane. That's already 4 team fouls now against Detroit. And that one's on Billups. And that's his second foul. And now Lindsey Hunter's going to have to come into the game. So you've got 2 key guys who have to take a seat early in the game. Ginobili on one side, Billups on the other.
Right, there are 2 people who can get you 20-plus points. So naturally, you must make quick adjustments.
.420 left in the period. It's Duncan. 5 on the shot clock. Spins underneath, and it's swatted away by Ben Wallace again.
Big Ben is everywhere early. Great hands that time by Bowen. Bowen anticipated that pass into the post. Ben Wallace is extremely active. He's not only playing his man, he's covering anyone that's making a move down inside. He's going for the shot block and the defensive rebound.
1 game for everything. 4:08 to play in the opening quarter. Detroit 12, San Antonio 12. The NBA Finals, Game 7 on ABC. The home team's done in Game 7s over the last quarter century. 8-0 in baseball. In the Stanley Cup Finals in the 7th game, the home teams are 5-0. In the NBA Finals, 3-0. So no team at home in any of those sports has lost the deciding game since 1979. The We Are Family Pittsburgh Pirates went to Baltimore and clinched the World Series at Old Memorial Stadium. That's the last time.
My only comment is Detroit is very confident that they can be the first.
They absolutely are.
Look, they're out here tonight, and they're doing what they do best. Blocking shots, forcing turnovers, getting out on the break. But when you lose a player of Billups' character early, that is a major blow. Because not only does he run your team, but he has also made 11 threes. He's your primetime three-point shooter in this series.
And then with him on the bench, they start with a steal and then a foul. And over the limit now, so Robert Horry, who gets fouled, will go to the free throw line. McDyess has come into the game for Rasheed Wallace, and Nazr Mohammed comes in for Tim Duncan for San Antonio. Horry misses the first of two. Here's Michelle.
Al, you mentioned earlier how Tony Parker got benched really briefly early after he took 2 errant shots, and Popovich just wanted to talk to him and calm down his young point guard. In the last huddle, just moments ago, Popovich at the end of his speech looked at Tony Parker and said, "You all right?" Tony nodded yes, and Pop took his knuckles and sort of knocked on Tony's head as if to make sure everything was still okay in there. So for now, the point guard is back in, Al.
He's back in. He had that brief little sojourn on the bench where Popovich needed about 15 seconds to settle him down and talk to him early. Horry makes 1 of 2. San Antonio has the lead.
Parker is averaging right at 15 points in this series, and he's shooting 48%. So there's nothing wrong with that part of it all. It just comes down sometimes to shot selection with the percentage. Is it a good percentage shot?
Prince missed and then Hamilton missed. 3.5 left in the opening period in the 7th game. Parker has the lane cut off here. You've got 6 on the clock. Goes in again. Mohammed juggles it. Picks it back up. Shot clock violation. Did he get the rim? He did.
He did.
Didn't matter. Detroit gets the ball anyway. And driving all the way is Hunter to blow the layup.
Wow, that was a strong move by Lindsay. He got himself caught underneath the rim. And he did not have a good angle on the release. That's why when you're in transition defense, you never say, that's a gimme, let him go. You keep challenging and force to try to put pressure on the shot.
Here's Horry.
Oh, boy.
Yes, the 3.
Horry coming into this game was shooting 48% in threes. That was his 14th make in this series.
Since Popovich called that timeout, a 10-0 run. So he said the perfect things, and Hamilton stops that streak. Basket there, making it a 2-point game. Horry.
Every time that Robert Horry catches the ball at the top of the circle and he has McDyess on him, in this series, if you notice, he takes him with a right dribble and he takes him down long all the way to the basket. He never settles for a short jump shot.
Horry knows what it's like to play in a Game 7 of the NBA Finals. He played in the last one in '94 as a Rocket against the Knicks, winning 1 of his 5 rings, and it's out of bounds, and it will go to the Spurs.
Get an offensive rebound here today. You have got to want contact. And then you cannot cry about a non-call. You must play big here this evening.
Mohammed to the bench. Horry has San Antonio's last 6 points. Spurs up by 4, a minute and a half in the quarter remaining. Barry drives by Prince, and they're going to get an offensive foul.
Once again, Ben Wallace. As Brent Barry goes down, he's hurting right now. Let's just hope it's only a stinger. Ben Wallace, beautiful rotation, stepped right in, takes the charge. Just watch him recover here. See, he takes it right there. Now, Barry could have had a pass off to the right because when Ben Wallace left his man, you never just want to stay in the same spot. Move and create a passing lane for Barry so that you get a dunk.
Barry was still grimacing a couple of seconds ago. Sucks it up, guards Prince. This is Lindsey Hunter. McDyess turns around and drops it in over Horry.
From that area, McDyess shoots a terrific percentage, whether he's facing or whether he is taking you with a fadeaway jump shot. That's his pet area.
Final minute of the quarter. Horry. Now Tayshaun Prince with 45 seconds. Hamilton comes off the curl. That time Bowen was right with him.
Yeah, he gambled. He shot the gap and he gambled.
Here's Hunter. Lindsey is short, but Detroit gets it.
Oh, bad pass.
Then they throw it away, and it's Barry, and it's knocked away as Hamilton saves the basket. They couldn't save the ball, but he saves the basket on a fine play, and now with 22 seconds to play, San Antonio will have it.
Now, this is just a sensational play by Hamilton right there. Not only that, but how about this? Almost a great save.
2-second differential between the shot and game clock. You can take it almost all the way down.
In every game in this situation, you'll get a high screen somewhere at the top of the circle.
And there it is. And Parker tries to exploit it, and he can't. And Hamilton will throw one up just before the horn and not get it. Tight, tough defense prevailing. What else is new? The number 1 and 2 defensive teams in the league. And they're meeting in Game 7. And at the end of one, it's San Antonio 18. Detroit 16. One game for the championship. The NBA Finals on ABC.
The pace of the game has been up-tempo. Unfortunately, we are not getting great shooting. Right now, Detroit is shooting 38%. San Antonio 40. The advantage for San Antonio has been the bench production of Barry and Horry. They have 10 points to only 2 for McDyess and the Detroit bench.
Detroit inbounds to start the second quarter. Lindsey Hunter. Rasheed Wallace looking inside to Prince. Tayshaun missing, but gets it back. Hunter never shy to put it up. Underneath, Hamilton is there for the offensive board to tie the game.
Now Detroit, they're getting good looks, Al. They're getting good looks from anywhere from 12 to 17 feet. They just have to relax and knock them down. And also the advantage of posting up Prince on Brent Barry. Must take advantage of that.
Crawford calls the foul here on McDyess just to reset the foul situation after 1 quarter of play. Chauncey Billups with 2 and Manu Ginobili still on the bench with 2.
Well, when you have 2 high flyers like Ginobili and Billups on the bench, naturally scoring is going to be down. Mainly because both teams count on them. They're either the number 1 or number 2 scorer for their team.
Near turnover, but Duncan saves it and scores.
Now that's a break. Detroit got the deflection. Unfortunately, they did not get to the loose ball.
Prince cuts inside. Hamilton will lay it off for McDyess. Hamilton tries to find room, does, and he puts it in to tie it at 20.
That was just a great head fake. When Hamilton came off the head fake, committed Horry as he passed them, he regrouped. Difficult shot off of 1 foot.
So crowd gathered at the Pistons home watching the game on the big screens there. Turnover here. Prince behind his back. Waits to set up. Has a three opportunity and cashes in.
Now this is the young man that's got to get it going. He has been an outstanding three-point shooter all year. And in this series, he has struggled. That is his first three.
Picked a pretty good time for it. Ginobili's going to come back into the game. Samana with 2 fouls. He returns with a little more than 10 minutes to go in the opening half. Bowen alone. Dice cleared it.
Well, they'll force Bowen to make that shot. And they will continue to double team with his man helping out in the lane until Bowen hits a few so that then they'll have to honor him.
Hamilton works it over to Prince. Again, Tayshaun missing this time. Bowen off the glass. Ginobili with 4 points. Horry now, who got hot in the first quarter. Parker from the corner. Tony Parker knocks it in to tie the game.
That time Lindsey Hunter was there, but he didn't want to close him out. Mainly because Parker still had his dribble. You always must be concerned with a Parker taking you strong to the basket.
Only his second 3 of the series. He's 2 for 12 in the finals. And then that 3 from Hamilton doesn't go, but McDyess taps it to himself to keep possession.
Detroit getting excellent looks out. The big thing is do not rush your shot.
And a whistle underneath.
San Antonio trying to front the post people. They got away with that one, but then they grabbed with it and got picked up for a foul.
23 apiece. That's a live shot from Auburn Hills, Michigan. As I look around, it looks like they've sold every seat. And if they have, you have more people there than you have here because their building is bigger. Close to 22,000 can fit in there and about 19 here. Larry Brown, meanwhile, take a look at his resume. He's the only man to win a title in the NBA and the NCAA. Pistons last year, Kansas in '88. That win the other night was the 100th of his career. And some of you watching the finals, since it's a Game 7 for the first time, the story with Larry is he's going to be checked out at the Mayo Clinic next week, and that will determine the starters whether he can coach again. And certainly whether he can coach next year or not, and Tayshaun Prince knocks that in.
That's the value of your point guard being back in the game. It was easy to hit Prince on a pass away from the defender. He made that look easy. It was all set up by a beautiful pass by Billups.
Pistons by 2. Duncan to tie it up.
Now McDyess was upset with himself. He thought that he was going to be able to block that shot. Nice move by Timmy, taking it right into the face of the defender.
Chauncey Billups has spent a lot of time on the bench with those 2 fouls. McDyess missing. Brent Barry, son of Rick. Horry off the bench with 8. Duncan a like figure. Tim on a fall away.
I like the defense by Antonio McDyess. He was not going to allow Duncan to bank that jump shot. He played him tight and jammed him and then forced him into an off-balance release.
Billups trying to lose Barry. Good tight defense. It comes outside. Now Ginobili is going to lay it in there for Duncan. Tim has to come back out.
We only have had 1 fast break score in this game, and that was by Detroit.
Duncan off the glass. Normally money in the bank for him, but not in this series. He's not been consistent with that shot.
Well, the tempo has been up and down, but they are not looking to push and then challenge in the 4-on-3 or 5-on-4 situation. They're settling to set up a half-court offense at both ends.
Foul call here, and it is the second on Antonio McDyess.
Right now, with Parker coming back in the game, they move Ginobili to the small forward position. You have Parker and Barry in the backcourt.
Hamilton will get a brief rest. Hunter back into the game for Larry Brown. 6.5 left in the half. And a foul here as Tim Duncan gets fouled. That foul is on Big Ben Wallace, and that is number 2 on Ben.
Now just keep an eye down inside. See, Ben has been able to get quite a few deflections once Duncan makes the catch, or as soon as he puts the ball down on the ground. The main thing right now is the game is being called very close, and you must pick your spots.
And then there's contact outside, and Ginobili,
And that was on
gets fouled, and Wallace is slow in getting up.
Yeah, Rasheed Wallace was trying to make a move in covering ground. See, watch, he's going to step out here right now, but it gets right there with the left leg, trips Ginobili, and that's a stinger.
Rasheed's up, but that's 2 on him. He got into foul trouble the other night and ended the game with 5 fouls, and was the star down the stretch for Detroit in Game 6.
Both teams basically are rotating 7 guys once we got into Game 6, and they're doing it again this evening.
Parker. Yeah, this is not, as Joey Crawford looks, and it's going to be called a jump ball. Crawford checking things out with Eddie Rush.
Well, in my opinion, I thought it was off Detroit. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, just keep it right.
Ginobili.
Yeah, at the last second. They're going to take it into the middle.
So it gets adjudicated as we come back to the center jump circle. Ben Wallace and Nazr Mohammed, the way the game started. And this time it's Detroit controlling the tip.
Yeah, Ben Wallace is quick on attack. You must be ready. You've got to be ready to battle him because he wins almost all of the jump balls in the series.
Rasheed Wallace is guarded by Nazr Mohammed and draws the foul with 5:51 to play in the half in the 7th game of the 2005 NBA Finals in San Antonio. It's the Pistons 25, the Spurs 25. San Antonio River, back we come to the SBC Center, about a 15-minute drive from downtown. The game is tied. Greg Popovich trying to win his 3rd title. Take a look at his resume. At the age of 56, 2 NBA titles. Assistant to Larry Brown, and last year they only won the bronze, so not what they would call a thrilling memory, but now they have an opportunity here. They meet in Game 7, and the game is tied with 5:40 to go.
The game has been very choppy, Al, mainly because both teams are struggling shooting a decent percentage, and then also they're only getting 1 look at the basket. We are not seeing anything in transition, so we do not have a nice flow or a continuity to the offenses.
And tough, contested defense, which of course is nothing new, but it's pretty amazing when you think about it. On the 23rd of June, little push here, and that one with Ben Wallace looking is going to be called on Rasheed Wallace. And for Rasheed Wallace, that's number 3. So now Rasheed Wallace in foul trouble, giving Rush an earful.
Yeah, well, right now he's questioning. He had Duncan fronted. He fronted him and he fought him really hard. Now, as this pass comes over, here comes the double team. The double team with Ben Wallace. What they're saying is that he had a hard bump on Duncan, and that's why Duncan lost control.
So he has to sit. Tony Parker.
Once again, they challenge and they get a shot block. That is their 4th block in this game.
Neither team has scored for over the last 3 minutes. And finally, the minute you say it, of course, somebody does.
Well, Detroit is struggling in the one area. We question whether or not they can shoot a high percentage in 3. They made 8 in Game 6. They're 1 for 7 tonight. That must improve as we go along because they're getting good looks.
Duncan whips it out to Parker. He passes up to 3, but Barry will launch and hit.
Barry and Ori already have 13 points between them off the bench. You must get to Brent Barry because 5 straight years he made over 100 threes and shot over 40%.
And McDyke, so valuable off the bench all year, in the playoffs, in the finals.
That's right, Al. He had a great year from the field. Shot it over 50%. You just can't play him lazy. Another block.
Brown wanted goaltending. They don't get it, but they will get the foul here.
Joey Crawford is up. Brent Barry is all over Joey Crawford, saying the ball was on the way down. Joey Crawford said that ball was on the way up.
And, of course, now a lot of concern here. Take a look. Ori is on the floor.
You can see that ball was still on the way up. Now, depends upon, now naturally in this building, everybody's going to get upset. Now, you can see the swing of the hand caught him right across the face.
He's okay. The other night, I mean, it's just a phenomenal performance. He made that unbelievable dunk. The shoulder was killing him, and then, of course, a couple of minutes later, that launching 3 that sends the series back here with San Antonio winning Game 5.
Well, you can see that his right eye is smarting right now. Now, he has been a bear in the three-point shooting all throughout this series. Now, we know he's made 14 and shot over 48%. But what I like about it is he's taking the ball to the basket when the opportunity presents itself, whether he dunks with the left hand or going strong to the right side of the rim.
Ori now has 9 points in 12 minutes of action. Duncan will go to the bench. Ori is the only guy on either team who has been to the foul line tonight.
And with the game being called as close as it is, that's like a rare stat.
Very, very. A lot of crazy stuff in this series.
Yes.
McDyke saved it. Shot clock at 6, and you get Parker putting his hands on Billups, and that's the foul on Tony.
Yeah, they're not going to allow you to hand check. Never mind. If a guy is without the ball and he's moving on the baseline, any grabbing or bumping, foul. And then they are not going to let a strong hand check, especially in that situation.
Timeout, Detroit. Spurs by 1. You know, Yubi, as we sit here, we have the best seat in the house, center court, right on the floor. One thing really strikes me. The intensity of a Game 7. And people can say, oh, these guys are making millions of dollars and all that. But they have played about 9 months going back to training camp.
Right.
And you can't tell me you don't get a little tired. And it takes a lot out of you. It's the 25th playoff game for Detroit on top of an 82-game regular season. And everybody is leaving it on the floor tonight. I know that's a cliche, but there's no other way to put it. Wallace, Ben Wallace.
Al, you're absolutely right. Detroit has played, this will be their 107th game of the year. San Antonio 106th. And you have to be at the top because it's for all of the marbles. And you know, what we're getting here right now is Detroit struggling, getting great looks for threes, but Ginobili and Parker only have 7 points between them. 10 points between them.
Yes, they do mono for a three.
You know he is not bashful. He is always looking for the three. In this series, that was his 11th score. 3-point make.
4 out of 5 for the Spurs tonight. 1 out of 7 are the Pistons from three-point land. And Ben Wallace gets free inside to tie it at 33.
Yeah, I love that. Anytime Antonio gets it and throws the ball fake, they're going because they do not want him to hit another open jump shot. But he'll give it up in traffic.
Bowen from about 8 feet, and the Admiral salutes that one. His old ball club has the lead by 2.
Now, Billups pushed him into a very tough area. That was a difficult shot.
Whistle as the pass comes into McDyess.
Yeah, McDyess was working very hard to post up Muhammad on that possession. They were looking to go for him right down inside low.
And the foul is on Muhammad. That is his second. Duncan returns to the game.
Yeah, Duncan is on McDyess. Wallace is on Ori. Or Ori is on Ben Wallace. Duncan is on McDyess.
Ticking down to 2 minutes.
Yeah, he wants to back down Parker here.
And they lays it off underneath, and Big Ben is getting free for those jams.
When Chauncey Billups turns the corner on a screen and he gets down, the defense, you can count on it. It's going to rotate to him. But Chauncey will give it up to the big man who's open.
Ben Wallace, Defensive Player of the Year, has 12 points in the game to lead all scorers.
That's that same shot that Bowen had on the other side. He made it look easy, but that is a very difficult angle.
Hamilton. A little too strong. Loose call underneath.
Good call. Loose ball foul. They had that one out all the way over the top of Billups.
Kid Rock in from Detroit. Both teams now in the penalty. They'll go to the line for the rest of the half, which right now has 86 seconds remaining. The WNBA on ABC. This Sunday, the game is Lisa Leslie and the LA Sparks against the Detroit Shock. Let's check in with Stuart Scott.
Al, if you ever wonder what Chauncey Billups is doing at 3 o'clock in the morning on game nights, he's watching a replay on the game on ESPN. He says every game he watches the replay. I said, why? He said, I just got to see if there's anything else I could have done. He said, usually if they play a great game, he finds things that they could have done better. If they play a bad game, he says, I usually see that we didn't play as bad as I thought we did. I said, what does your wife think about it? He said, she understands. She usually wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning. She'll see me, roll her eyes, and just go back to bed. She knows me.
Now, Parker drives to the basket. Why doesn't he get TiVo and get some sleep? Watch it at 8 in the morning.
Then maybe Parker will get going right now. That one opened up for him. He was too quick for Campbell down in the painted area.
Final minute of the opening half.
Nice.
Beautiful inside, and this time Hunter does get the bounce.
That was a beautiful pass by Elton Campbell and a great backdoor change of direction by Hunter.
And now you got another foul call here, and this one is on Lindsey Hunter, prone to picking up fouls, sometimes in bunches. That's a second on him.
Well, you would try not to foul, especially when you are out at least 35 to 40 feet from the basket. You're trying not to have the contact, mainly because you don't want to send a guy to the foul line at this juncture. You want them to try to shoot and make the basket because both teams are struggling with low shooting percentages at this juncture in the game.
You got Parker in the game, and Larry Brown thinking about foul trouble. He has Ronald Dupree, who's barely played in postseason in the game. He also has Eldon Campbell in the game. Campbell has played sparingly. Campbell has not been in this series at all, but with 43.7, Larry does not want to risk that extra foul.
Right, he's trying to protect his front court guys and also Billups. He does not want to have Billups pick up his third here.
And Devin Brown is coming in for Popovich for the first time of the game. That's Brown defensively on Prince. Tipped back up, cleared by Barry.
Once again, Duncan with an intimidation there. He changed the direction of that shot.
And you have the shot clock and the game clock just about ticking down simultaneously. San Antonio can take it to the end. They take a timeout. 18.3 to the half. Detroit by 1. So now you've got San Antonio a chance to take the lead and probably take it into halftime if they take the clock all the way down, or close enough with .3, the differential shot and game clock.
We're in a situation where the home team feels, yeah, we're shooting 40%, but we're at home. We're getting great production from the bench. Things will get going in the second half. Ginobili and Parker will get it going. If you're Detroit, you're saying to yourself, hey, we are in great shape no matter what happens on this last possession. We're struggling 1 for 7 from the threes. We're shooting a low percentage, but we're getting the shot blocks, we're forcing turnovers, and we're getting good looks at the basket.
Another timeout is called. You know, at the risk of sounding like a shill, because we said it the other night, beauty again is in the eye of the beholder. This is not Phoenix against Dallas. It's rough and it's tough, and it's a little like the NFL right now. But you've got two teams playing one game for the championship, and it may not have been a high-scoring first half, but a pretty fascinating one in its own right.
Well, you have the two top defensive teams that we have in the league. They are both in the top 3 in 5 of the toughest defensive categories. Plus, they anchor it with outstanding shot blocking at both ends. So they erase an awful lot of easy opportunities that most teams would get in a different setting.
Well put. Ginobili letting the clock work its way down. Now to 7 seconds. Behind his back. And Manu puts it up, and it doesn't go. At the end, nearly a double dribble.
Well, he wanted a call. I thought that the defense was outstanding by Lindsey Hunter. And then also Hamilton came right in at the last second and forced a difficult shot. Watch it right here. Here comes Hamilton to help him out. As he steps through, he thought that he had an easier shot.
Over to Stuart Scott.
Thanks a lot, Al. Ben Wallace, Defensive Player of the Year, leading your team in scoring. What has surprised you most about this first half, Ben?
You know, it's tough. You know, nothing really surprising anybody right now. But it's just, you know, it's amazing how hard both teams are playing. Nobody want to give an inch.
How frustrating is it that you guys' shots aren't falling?
I'm not really frustrated. As long as we continue to stay in the game, as long as we give ourselves a chance to win the game, you know, we'll take it right here.
If you're Coach Larry Brown, what do you tell your team with 24 minutes left in this season?
Just stay solid. You know, do what you do. Do what you've been doing all season. Do what you did to get here.
All right, Ben, we appreciate it. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks,
Al?
Thank you, Stuart. 1-point game. This is the 16th Game 7 in an NBA Finals, and it's the narrowest margin of those 16. A 1-point game in San Antonio. The world champion Detroit Pistons, 39, and the San Antonio Spurs, 38 at the half. After the break, Mike Tirico, Bill Walton, Greg Anthony, and the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report, the NBA Finals on ABC. We start the third quarter in the 7th game. Detroit On top of San Antonio, 39-38. Closest ever Game 7 in an NBA Finals at halftime. Yubi, I was going to say your thoughts. You always have a ton of thoughts, but what is uppermost in your mind at the end of the first half?
Starting guards for Detroit, 5 for 15. And at the other end, San Antonio, 5 for 13. They're struggling big time. But the high scorer in the first half, Ben Wallace.
Unbelievable.
Right.
It's crazy.
That's exactly right. That's the kind of game it is, Al. Look at the 12.6-7 field goal, 4 rebounds and a block. Duncan is doing his thing. Duncan has taken the most shot attempts for San Antonio, and he also has a shot block.
Go figure. Ben Wallace, 12 points. Rasheed Wallace, no rebounds. Let's go to Stewart.
Al, when I first saw Larry Brown tonight, he said he was nervous. At halftime, I said, "Are you still nervous?" He said, "No." He said, "Rasheed Wallace doesn't have a rebound. Chauncey Billups hit just 1 bucket, and we're in foul trouble, and we lead by 1. He said, "We're pretty fortunate." I said, "LB, what's the last thing that you said to your guys before leaving the locker room for the second half?" He said, "I told them training camp starts in 103 days, and half of you guys won't show up on time anyway, so you might as well lay it out all on the line right now." Now, for reporting the Spurs, let's go to Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Stu, Greg Popovich said a lot of the things he said before the game. Errors in the half-court defense are what's costing the Spurs right now. They double-teamed Eldon Campbell one time. He looked at me and you said, "Can you tell me why we would double-team Eldon Campbell?" Well, I couldn't, so that tells you something. Those errors he wants to fix. They allowed Chauncey Billups a couple drives, allowed Ben Wallace a couple of spectacular dunks. He said, we've got to clean up those half-court defensive errors because Detroit just executes way too well. We got to do that. That could make the difference in the second half. Al?
Thank you, Michelle. They probably double-teamed Eldon Campbell because they didn't know who he was.
All right.
Well, they know who he was. He hadn't played a single minute in the series.
Al, you make a good point. They're getting caught on the double team. Every time they go to help out, double team, the Detroit big men are finding Ben Wallace or McDyess and they're scoring a lot of points.
Period begins with Detroit inbounding. That means San Antonio gets the first possession of the fourth quarter. Tonight, San Antonio has been hot from beyond the arc. Detroit, the other night, was hot. Here's Billups. Picked up those 2 quick fouls. And missed a lot of time in the first half. Chauncey off the glass, missing here. Mohammed with a rebound.
Yeah, he was off balance on that release. Give Parker a lot of credit. Good, solid defense.
Who's in foul trouble? The only guy is Rasheed Wallace, who has 3. Duncan fights his way in. Scrambles and goes down and collects it, and he's a little slow.
Yeah, see, that's a good call. That's a loose ball foul. Now, unfortunately, Duncan is not moving.
Somebody landed on Tim Duncan. Foul will be on Billups, and Chauncey picks up a 3rd foul in the first couple of seconds of
You can see
there it is.
that's
right
unintentional. He was trying to avoid the collision. Unfortunately for him, he lands right there on the top of Duncan, and Duncan has the ball right under his chest. Now, we had an excellent defensive rotation by Detroit. Rasheed did a terrific job in intimidating Duncan on that release, point-blank range under the rim.
Parker has it knocked away, but Ginobili gets it back, and then Manu gets fouled, despite Ben Wallace saying it should be an offensive foul, and that's going to be Rasheed Wallace, and that's his 4th. So Billups has picked up his 3rd, and Wallace his 4th in the first minute of the 3rd period.
Yeah, this is unfortunate because once again they lose the loose ball situation, and San Antonio scored a layup in the first half. On this one, they're going to get 2 foul shot attempts. Now, Wallace right now, you can see it. That's big. Anytime that you have 4 fouls, you only have 2 points in this game and 0 rebounds. This is the team we said you won Game 6 because of the contribution of Prince and Wallace. 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks.
And Larry Brown's compelled to take him out here.
Absolutely.
McDyess comes into the game. Ginobili misses the 2nd free throw attempt, but we have an Eddie Rush call, and it might be lane violation. Was it a shooter's lane violation? Ginobili?
Yeah, I guess they're calling it on the stepping in. On the stepping in, and it was debatable whether it was a Spur or Detroit. It looked like both guys were in at the same time.
Underneath, Wallace gets muscled. Ginobili quickly to Parker.
Now, in this game, San Antonio does not have a fast break basket. That is shocking.
One reason would be Detroit, the paucity of turnovers. They just don't turn the ball over very often.
That was beautiful rotation by McDyess. He came right into the area so that Ginobili could not get a quick shot attempt.
And Hamilton has that one drop, and he gets fouled.
Now, if you're rooting for Detroit. You know that Hamilton and Phillips must get it going for you out on the perimeter. That will open up your inside game. This is a tough shot right there. Being challenged and hit.
Hamilton, 23 points the other night. He came up huge in Game 6. Three-point play here. Rip has 11. Ben Wallace is the leading scorer. On the floor are those guys for San Antonio. And on the bench is Ori, who is their leading scorer tonight with 10 points. Ginobili cross court. Bowen lays it into Mohammed. Parker will launch a three. Duncan is there. Duncan misses what would have been a jam. Here's Billups.
And the Dice wanted that one. They're going for the baseline screen.
Prince pulls up, misses a 10-footer.
See, they ran. Prince called for the down screen so that they would run two curls. But what he wanted to take Parker down inside the foul line and shoot over the top.
And you've got Duncan getting fouled here, and we saw the gyration by Ben Wallace, who can't believe the call. Rasheed looks on in disbelief from the bench, and that's three on him.
Yeah, you see what happens. Look how deep he's pinning him. See, any time that there's transition, the big men of San Antonio run right to the little circle. You're about 3 to 4 feet in front of the rim. And if they pin you on their back, all right, it's going to be a strong move. Detroit wanted an offensive foul on Duncan.
Duncan alone from 18. And Wallace went up too quickly for the rebound, and it's out of bounds for San Antonio.
In this game, you can talk about pressure, because we have had some really open looks, uncontested, and guys are just missing.
Duncan with McDyess on him. Since Wallace is out of the game,
good hand.
Phillips nearly stole, knocks it away out of bounds, but San Antonio will get it with only 8 on the clock.
That's the value of the deflection. Even if you don't make the steal, deflect the ball with the clock. You're down inside 8 seconds now on this catch.
Duncan off the glass.
What a great play by Ben Wallace, but knocked that right to his man.
And what a nice pass by him as well on the other end, and Popovich calls a timeout. Prince on the other end for the bucket, and Detroit with 3 guys in foul trouble and 1 in serious trouble, and Rasheed Wallace with a little spurt here. 8:45 remaining in the third quarter, and Detroit has stretched its advantage to 5 in Game 7. Commissioner Stern. It's been a good week for David Stern. They worked out a collective bargaining agreement. There'll be no lockout. His league has a 7th game for the first time in 11 years.
I saw him before the game, and he said, you know, Yubi, after the draft, I am taking myself a well-deserved vacation.
So are you, right?
Oh, boy. This has been a great time.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Here's Ginobili. Gets doubled, loses the ball. Phillips starts back the other way. Short by 5, trying to make it 7, and Chauncey Billups gets fouled here. Robert Horry's going to come into the game.
Right, from now to the end of this game, you have to watch your turnovers. Detroit only has 3 for the game. An interesting stat. The leading rebounders for Detroit, McDyess and Rip Hamilton, with 6.
Unbelievable. And for Chauncey Billups at the line, Chauncey tonight only has 5 points, but he has 6 assists and has protected the ball. And this is Detroit's biggest lead of the game, 46-39, 8:20 left in the period.
San Antonio has not created any turnovers. Consequently, they have 0 points in the fast break game, which is a major part of their arsenal. And then Parker and Ginobili have got to get unglued here. They need the contribution.
3 on the clock.
Lost it.
Horry trying to tap it back in. That doesn't go. Here comes Billups. The other way for Detroit.
Detroit really running hard here in the open floor. They keep this up. They're going to open up some easy shots.
And McDyess works his way around Duncan to put it in. And it's a 9-point Piston advantage.
Well, you got to be impressed with McDyess tonight now. Off the bench, he's been terrific. He's got 8 points, 6 rebounds, and he's making things happen.
Spurs in 4.5 minutes are 0 for 7 from the field in this period. And they needed that. Parker.
Yeah, you hate to see your guard go down in that point. But Rip lost his balance and fell down, opened Parker up. That's only the 2nd time that Parker has scored below the paint. You know, when you coach the opposing team and you play Detroit, you really do not get a chance to appreciate Ben Wallace's passing. He's really opened my eyes in this series. He has made terrific passes in transition. He's made soft catches and great passes coming on baseline moves. And it's just nice to see because he's always looking for the free man.
7 minutes in the period. Tayshaun Prince doesn't go. Now Duncan with a rebound.
Yeah, that's a tough shot. Mainly because I did not think that he had a clear look. He might have been a shade behind the board.
Bowen, they double him. Duncan free for the moment. They take care of him now. Horry on a turnaround off the glass doesn't go. Hamilton got the rebound.
Oh, look out. Can't force that.
Nice steal created by Manu Ginobili.
Now that's Billups' first turnover in this game. He has 6 assists.
Here's Duncan inside. Gets it back. Puts it in and gets fouled.
In game 5, when San Antonio won this game. Not there, right here. This is where Duncan was a monster in that second half in the overtime. 8 offensive rebounds. You've got to concentrate on him now because he's not going to give up on any shot that he misses. He's there with the long reach.
Duncan, almost 14 minutes between points. He has 10 in the game. He and Horry each have 10 to lead the Spurs. It's an adventure, but it drops in.
It's all right, as long as it drops in. It's a confidence builder.
Golf, it's not how many. Clean block.
That's what we tell you, the block shots at each end.
Ginobili. 7 straight points after that 9-point Detroit lead. It's almost evaporated, and Larry Brown says good it over here.
Excellent timeout. This game has been played in peaks and valleys. Quick spurt because of the defense and the shot blocking.
Manu for two, 48-46 Pistons. Antonio Riverwalk. Detroit is on top, 48-46. 5:55 left in the third. Hubie, it's time for Gatorade Cooler Talk, and let's take a look at Tim Duncan here in the second half.
Well, you can see there's a lot of contact on his releases, and right here he gets injured because the ball was in his chest as he hit the floor. Now he's struggling. He's 5 for 16 from the floor, but he has 4 offensive rebounds, and even though he's missing, that's what you have to concentrate. You've got to get a body on him and try not to let him to get the easy baskets.
He was part of that 7-0 run just now. He had 3. Parker and Ginobili had 2. Ginobili's basket, by the way, the first fast break points by San Antonio tonight. And so Detroit has its 9-0 run, answered with a 7-0 run, and that's a 2-point game with 5:50 to go in the third.
I like the defense. Full court defense disrupted. We're already down to 13 seconds.
Phillips slip, gets back up. Now we're down to 7 seconds. McDyess gets free and drops it from 18.
You love Ben Wallace and McDyess tonight. Ben Wallace is 6 for 9, and McDyess is 5 for 6. So the two of them are carrying this front court lack of production for Detroit.
Barry and Ori in the game for San Antonio.
Yeah, McDyess and Duncan were in a war down inside. They were really banging around down in there, and then they catch Duncan with an offensive foul.
Yeah.
You're going to watch this now. McDyess is working very hard to front Timmy. He gets free a lot when you reverse the ball to the other side of the floor. That was quick feet and strong move by McDyess.
Pistons by 4. McDyess. And then you've got Ben Wallace in the lane, and Duncan puts his hands up. It actually called a 3-second violation on that prior play, so that's the foul on Duncan. It would be his first.
Now what we're seeing here is excellent passing down inside in the congested area by McDyess and by Ben Wallace throughout this game.
Ben Wallace, again, the lowest free throw percentage in history among fellows with a significant number of free throws, missing the first here.
Well, he's now 9 for 20. Yeah, he's 9 for 20 in this series, Al.
That's 45%. Now closer to his lifetime average after that one. Ori. Ginobili comes out to get it. Duncan now. Works on McDyess. Goes all the way. Can't get it to drop off the glass.
Outstanding double team from Ben Wallace as he came across. Duncan had the advantage. He was a shoulder ahead of McDyess, but Ben Wallace came in there. Terrific move.
Prince pulls up and drops it in for a 6-point Detroit margin.
Well, you're going to earn your shot releases from now to the end. We know that it was difficult to get a good look without being challenged in the first half. This half, baby, they are flying at one another.
Bowen, he's going to dish it underneath to Duncan, and Duncan's going to get fouled.
Keep an eye on Duncan on this move. Now you'll see right there he hits McDyess, but watch Ben Wallace come into the fray here. Right there, see, that caused Duncan to shoot a higher arc on his shot. You just love Ben Wallace tonight. I tell you, the young man has been everywhere. He's really laying it on the line. His intimidations, never mind his numbers with the rebounding and the points. He has really been helping out his teammates.
He's an MVP candidate if Detroit wins. He has 11 points. Meanwhile, McDyess just picked up. Duncan has 11. McDyess just picked up his 4th foul, so he comes out. And you got McDyess and Rasheed Wallace pretty much sharing a front court spot. They each have 4.
Right now, Detroit is very small. With Hunter and Billups in the backcourt, you have Hamilton and Price up front. So you are trying to get by with Tayshaun Prince as a power forward right now.
Tim Duncan, their leading scorer, and in fact leads everybody on both teams. He has 13 points.
Right now we're seeing, looks like a 2-3 zone right there for San Antonio.
Prince.
Prince thought he was fouled. Dick Favetta told Prince that it was a clean block.
Duncan, this time he's got Prince on him. And Duncan puts it in and gets fouled.
In transition, Detroit is gambling that the small unit can defend. But right there, Prince had to pick up Duncan, and as soon as San Antonio saw that, the ball went right in, and you have Duncan in a strong move.
Duncan 3 out of 3 from the line tonight. Got the bounce, 3-point play with 3.5 to go, and it's a 1-point game.
Right now, Horry is playing Prince. Barry is on Rip Hamilton. You see right there, he knows he can take him.
And Duncan comes in for the block, and they're going to call him for the foul. Bavetta says, yep.
The defensive rotation at both ends by the big people into the shot block, excellent. See, right now, as soon as Hamilton saw Barry on him, you knew he was taking him right to the basket. Now, Duncan came across and made an excellent attempt for a shot block.
And they called it on Barry, the foul on Barry from behind.
Well, I thought Barry fouled him. There's no doubt that Duncan came across and got a clean block.
Well, you never know how they're going to call it on play.
Oh, no, you're right. Absolutely right.
I know never in time are contradictory, but you know what I mean, Yubi.
Yes, I do. Right now, in your favor, if you're Detroit, Billups and Hamilton are 2 80% foul shooters, and I cannot believe I said that as Hamilton misses.
It's the kibosh.
And as we play right now, Rip Hamilton is your leading rebounder with 7. Is he doing a job?
Duncan now. Tim Duncan banks one home, 53-all.
Now Ben Wallace did not close him out. In the early going, McDyess and Rasheed Wallace were taking that bank shot away from Timmy by playing him tight.
Tim Duncan, big quarter. 10 of his 18 points in the period.
Hamilton wanted to clear out here.
San Antonio can take the lead again. Tim Duncan scoring a point a minute here in the period.
You've got to go there.
Missing here. Underneath, Ben Wallace saves.
I like that. Never allow the referee to make a decision. If you can get that ball before it gets out of bounds, get it.
2 minutes to play in the period. Chauncey Billups in the lane, and he's going to get fouled. Bowen.
Chauncey's just going strong now. He knows that this is his time. The end of the third quarter and then fourth quarter action. He's going to pull his way with that upper body strength. This is where the young man is just terrific. He'll get the shot. Now, I know the people here are upset. They didn't think he was fouled, but there was definite contact. The foul could have gone either way.
38-41 is Billups from the line now in the series. That foul on Bowen was his 4th. So Bowen is 4. And on the other side, McDyess and Rasheed Wallace each have 4.
Chauncey Billups just steps up there, Al, cool, and knocks it down with a beautiful release, nonchalant.
Pistons by 2, Barry outside.
Ben Wallace fighting Duncan.
Ginobili drives all the way in to score. It was around Ben Wallace who came in underneath and puts it in to tie it at 55.
No way could Ben Wallace help on that situation. Mainly because he had to worry about Duncan. If he would have moved to help, Duncan would have had a dunk.
Hunter. Wallace almost made a spectacular putback.
Yeah, Lindsay's struggling in this game right now. He's 1 for 6, and he's had an awful lot of good looks at the basket.
Coming up on a minute to go. Duncan, and has that one swatted out of bounds by Wallace with 4 seconds on the 24. Which Rasheed Wallace reminds his teammates. And Duncan gets free and off the glass.
That can't happen. Mainly because there's 4 seconds. You got to belly up on your man. So even though they scream, he would take you right with him.
Spurs by 2. And Billups has to go out of bounds. It's off San Antonio. We've got 9 seconds.
Now, that was a difficult shot. And also, once again, San Antonio comes up with another shot block.
9 on the 24. Billups to inbound. Prince.
San Antonio's in his zone now. They zone you on the side out of bounds play.
3 on the clock. Hunter in traffic. And it's a 24-second violation.
Talking to Greg Popovich today, our defense must come back. We had great defense in games 1 and 2, where we had the shot block. We had forcing turnovers, getting out in the open floor. Well, maybe it's going to happen here in the last 4 to 5 minutes of this quarter. Can they continue it, though, during quarter number 4?
4.6-second differential. Parker, Ginobili trying to get free on a wing. Parker will pull up. He'll miss that. And it's out of bounds to Detroit, and you're going to have 7.4 on the clock.
Now, you have plenty of time here right now. Watch the drive and the kick out.
Billups to Prince.
There it is.
They work it into the corner. From the corner, Hunter drops it in. With 0.7, that's a long two. And a steal, and the shot doesn't go at the end. But Hunter was inside the arc. The long two ties it. Well, we had 4 routes in the first 4 games. And then a classic. And then a grade 1 in Game 6. And set up for a fantastic finish in Game 7. Final shot of the period. Tied at the end of 3. This presentation of the NBA Finals on ABC continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations. That's the scene, the live scene from the Palace of Auburn Hills. A 2.5-hour flight northeast of here. We're all watching there, and of course here at the SBC Center. They will look on. We might see a little bit of history tonight. There's only been 2 other occasions when Game 7 was tied at the end of 3. One was back in 1955, 50 years ago, when the Fort Wayne Pistons were tied with Syracuse, and Syracuse won the game. The other was in 62, Celtics-Lakers, a game that went to overtime. A game the Lakers could have won if Frank Selby had made a shot at the end of regulation. A little history for you. And now the present for you. Al Michaels, UB Brown, Michelle Tafoya, Stuart Scott, fourth quarter, and San Antonio inbounds to start it.
Now, Tim Duncan at the end of 3 has 20 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks.
Duncan. Again, it's Wallace who creates it. Big Ben. Rasheed is back in the game. He has 4 fouls. Underneath, Rasheed is going to work it back outside. Hunter Ginobili off the glass.
See, right away, Rip Hamilton went right into the post and posted up Parker.
Duncan with a dunk.
Beautiful feed by Brent Barry. Ben Wallace went for the steal. The defensive rotation was not there from the other side of the lane.
Duncan had 12 points and 6 rebounds in the third period. Hamilton. And Wallace tips it to himself. Just great. And then there's a whistle. It's so loud there you couldn't even hear it. Back to the Duncan basket.
Now just keep an eye. Watch down in the corner here. A beautiful feed. Duncan seals off Ben Wallace.
And there's Dad. That foul was on Ginobili. That's his third of the game. Rasheed Wallace inside.
He's got to have a good quarter here. They need his points. There's a defensive foul right there on the post up. They have been consistent all night. And the post play defensively, you must adjust, especially now in the last 10 minutes and 36 seconds.
Second foul on Tim Duncan. Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, they need Rasheed Wallace to come to life here. Come on, time is running down here now.
5 on the clock.
Got to be quick.
Turned around by Rasheed, goes to tie it at 59.
Al, he can do it. He can do it with his back to the basket. He can do it out of pick and spot up. He can also do it for you in movement anytime that his defender goes to double team. He just must come to life now. He's looking, he checks the clock. Now watch what happens here. It's just up and up over the top of the defender.
Inbounding with 19 on the 24. Bowen's going to come back in. They'll give Parker a little rest here. Bowen has 4 fouls.
Yeah, they have Barry and Ginobili in the backcourt now.
Ginobili working outside. Manu starts in. All the way in.
That was so clever. He hesitated his dribble, and as soon as he saw daylight out, that was an explosion. He attacked that rim.
And that's the type of thing he did in games 1 and 2 when he was spectacular. Spurs by 2. Wallace missing. And Ginobili gets a big rebound.
He had a good opportunity, a good look. I thought excellent defense by Duncan. Really challenged that shot.
Duncan guarded by Rasheed. Comes out to Barry, gets back into Tim, and it's off Duncan's hand.
Yeah, Duncan thought that he was fouled, but that was a challenge, a good deflection. And that pass, I like what Brent Barry did. When the pass came out, always look for the postman to repost, and he did. He tried to get it back into him in a deeper set.
Duncan gets a breather. Horry comes into the game. 9:15 left in the fourth.
Well, you've got to go to Rasheed now. Now, Horry's a good defender, but he's given up a lot of sides here.
Hamilton guarded here by Mohammed. He's going to back off. Clock is down to 5. Cross court. Clock at 1. Prince puts it up.
Oh,
and
yes.
Big Ben gets another huge offensive board, but then Joey Crawford makes the call here. And you've got a foul call here on Mohammed. Ginobili with the dunk.
Now watch the hesitation, and then as soon as that defender gave him an alley, he's taking it. He's one of the toughest guys because sometimes he'll continue 2 bounces because he might want to take a jump shot. But when that alley opens, he explodes.
Shot of San Antonio. Aerial view. Manu Ginobili has been coming up big here. puts that one in for Mono. You take a look at what he's done in his career here. The Italian League, he was great. Won a championship with the Spurs, and then this right here. Wins the Olympic gold medal for Argentina last year in Athens. Larry Brown, of course, coaching on the other side, the bronze for the U.S. So trying to match Olympic gold in an NBA title.
Detroit must get Chauncey Billups going here. He's only 1 for 5 in this game.
Mohammed, who was whistled just before that break for his 3rd foul with the rebound.
Yeah, Ginobili was all over Rip Hamilton on that one. He challenged that one right to the release.
8.5 left. Horry from the corner drops it in for 3.
That is the 5th 3 in this game for the Spurs. Detroit still struggling in three-point shooting. 1 for 9. Big difference.
Rasheed Wallace puts it in over Horry. 64-61 Spurs.
They didn't get that any time, Al. No way can Horry prevent Rasheed from getting a high percentage shot if he plays behind him.
Brent Barry picked up by Billups. Now Ginobili. Prince out there with him. Gonna drive and stop. Turn around and miss it. Rebound comes off. Hamilton leaves it for Billups.
Now they have Bowen on Billups now. Barry's on Rip Hamilton.
Switch to turn down Wellford until the end of game 5. 5 on the clock. It's going to be contested, whatever it is, and Wallace has it knocked away. But Vetta underneath is going to call against Detroit. 24-second violation. Never reached the rim.
Well, that was another great shot block. But give Ginobili a lot of credit. His defense on Prince was outstanding. And then he made him give it up, but there was not enough time. Then they get Mohammed on a great shot block.
Horry with Wallace on him.
Yeah, see, right now, Horry's all upset. Dick Bavetta called the travel. Horry is saying that he pulled me. He pulled me into the travel as he tried to make the reverse spin.
And Bavetta, who's been around, just looks on impassively.
Well, we all know when you get situations like that in traffic, Al, it's the angle. Your look as the referee. The angle on the call.
Hamilton off the curl. Duncan with the rebound. Tim has 10 rebounds in the game. Had a great 3rd quarter. Duncan with Ben Wallace on him. Going to dish it back to Horry. And that one's not close. But Duncan keeps it alive for the Spurs.
Remember we told you about Duncan's offensive rebounding. That's his 5th of this game.
Now Bowen from outside, and Bruce Bowen, who's been pretty quiet from three-point land. He loves to shoot from the corners. He doesn't shoot from that angle that often, but he, like Horry, is deadly from outside the arc.
Bruce Bowen, that is his 13th 3 during this final set. Now, once Duncan saw that double team, that ball was going out to Bowen. We told you all night, Bowen will be open. His man is double teaming. Took advantage of that big time.
Spurs by 6. Spurs trying to win a 3rd NBA championship in 7 seasons. There are the other 2 batters up there. Place is rocking after that 3 by Bowen. It's a 6-point lead, and it's the biggest lead in the game for San Antonio.
Well, with 6 minutes and 9 seconds to go, Chauncey Billups and Rick Hamilton are 6 for 22. And they have got to come to life. Because once they get going, if they would get going with the 17 to 22-foot game and then off the dribble, it will open up the front line.
Billups has only one field goal in the game.
That's a big stat.
And a steal. Horry knocked it away.
Well, we said with now 4 to 5 minutes in that third quarter, we have finally seen the San Antonio defense come to life that we witnessed in games 1 and 2.
Duncan trying to lay it off for Horry. Good defense underneath. Steal by Detroit.
Got to run a staggered screen here. Our curl, he wants to go into Rasheed Wallace, cut through, or take Barry in a one-on-one.
Rasheed over Duncan.
Needed that. Wow. That was a big basket for Detroit.
Very.
Rasheed has come in here right now looking to score. And he's running a nice thing right now. He's 4 for 7.
Duncan. McDyess is on him. Hamilton came over to help. That freed Parker, and he's still short, but Horry is there underneath. Big board.
Mr. Intangible. Boy, I'm telling you, he's alive, always on those rebounds or the short shot. They'll continue to give Parker that shot. You know, he's really struggled throughout this game on this perimeter shooting. He's now 3 for 11, and the shot has not gone down.
Turned it over here. Timeout is called with 4:37 remaining in the fourth quarter. Going down to the finish. Maybe a fabulous finish from San Antonio. 67-63 Spurs. Showed you that the other night in Detroit's locker room. They said San Antonio's parade is scheduled for Thursday. Then they said tonight it's rescheduled for Saturday. One of those little things. Who in the world, Yubi? Who even knows if it's true?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, William Davidson, the Pistons managing partner, who watched his Pistons win the championship last year. He also owns the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team, and they won the Stanley Cup last year. And now he's trying to hit the trifecta with another championship.
One of the truly great owners that we have in the league. They have an outstanding organization. Joe Dumars is doing a terrific job in basketball management and filling all the holes with excellent talent.
With 3 on the shot clock, Duncan misses off the glass, and Rasheed Wallace leaves it for Chauncey Billups. In this quarter, Rasheed has done all of the scoring. Spurs have outscored the Pistons 10-6 in the period.
Now that was a terrific double team by Ginobili. As Prince left the area, he vacated the low box and went away. Ginobili came right back and double-teamed Billups so that he would not be able to take this man one-on-one. Now we have Bowen on Billups. Parker is guarding Hamilton.
Inside, McDyess, turnaround short, Horry off the glass.
That was a beautiful pass by Rasheed, and Tony McDyess had a great look.
Under 4 left.
Now you have your switch here now. So you have Prince on Timmy Duncan.
And you also have 2 on the shot clock. And from the corner, it's Duncan.
That's the first shot from the right side of the floor that Duncan hit. But I like it because Ginobili challenged and then he kicked back to Duncan. Beautiful.
And then driving to the hoop is Chauncey Billups, who's been limited to 1 field goal tonight. Picks up his second 4-point game.
Now Detroit needed that and Chauncey Billups needed that.
3:10 remaining. Duncan puts it on the floor, lays it off to Ginobili with 2 on the clock. Huge.
Duncan accepted that double team and knew exactly where he was going. When that happens in a game against great defenses, you must be ready to catch and shoot immediately. And Ginobili knocks in another 3.
Biggest lead of the game for San Antonio.
Now this is just good basketball savvy. Ginobili takes a double team, kick to Duncan, and now take the double team and then make that diagonal pass. Once again, Ginobili, that is his 12th three throughout this series.
San Antonio 72, Detroit 65. San Antonio by 7. There were time at the end of 3. Duncan coming up very big.
This is Tim Duncan at his best. Just watch the diagonal pass to the right side of the floor. See, right there, you're going to Bruce Bowen, who is shooting a high 40% in threes. Now, as Lindsey Hunter goes down in there, they kick right back out, and then you have Ginobili on the catch and shoot. Now, this is big factor in this game tonight. That is the 7th three-point make for San Antonio, and Detroit only has made 1 3, a difference of 6 points.
And in total contrast to Game 6.
Pick up those extra points.
Now you've got Rasheed Wallace. Listen, Ginobili is there. Wallace was right on, but short.
This is where San Antonio does an excellent job. They run the clock well once they get inside of 3 minutes. They just do not rush the situation.
2:20 left, and a reach-in foul here on Ben Wallace.
Well, Detroit, that is their first foul.
First foul of the quarter.
First foul, right. But we're approaching the 2-minute mark here.
Pistons have only 8 points in the period.
That's right. Only 26 for the half, Al. And they're going to look at that and shake their heads because they have not been able to score. But then again, the San Antonio defense has actually stepped up big time.
Here's Duncan. Comes up short. Big rebound for Ben Wallace. Ticking down to 2 minutes. Chauncey Billups is going to drive, and he is going to get fouled, and then he stumbles at the end of the play and goes down hard. Stumbled over Bowen. That is a foul, which is number 5 now on Bowen. Number 5 on Bruce Bowen.
Now, if you get the 2 foul shots here, you're in a 5-point game. Plenty of time. You have 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
And they'll shoot fouls the rest of the way. That's the 14th foul.
That's right.
You got Billups at the line. Billups is 6 out of 6.
Main thing right now, Detroit must really sharpen up their defense. They're bringing Lindsey Hunter in right now, and he's going to be on Ginobili.
Prince out. 2:02 to play. Billups with 11 points. Detroit's leading scorers are Hamilton and Ben Wallace with 12 each, and he misses the second. 6-point game.
Like we said before, San Antonio, just take your time, good ball movement, run the clock, make sure you get high percentage shots.
They use the clock. Duncan off the glass, missing. Ben Wallace again to clear it.
Now, Larry Brown, you know you're getting what you want. 1 shot attempt. You got the rebound, but you got to make it happen.
Big possession here for Detroit, and Hamilton goes through the lane, and they're going to call it on Detroit.
Offensive foul. Rick Hamilton had no place to go. He got hit right in the thigh. Keep an eye on it. He's going to run right in there. Once again, the intangible man.
Horry.
Robert Horry does all of the little things. Gets the loose balls, gets offensive boards, but he takes charges, and he then naturally, the bottom line is he makes big three-point saves.
Barry comes in. Bowen will go out. Horry is 91 seconds away from a 6th ring. And he takes a timeout here. 1:31 remaining in the 4th quarter. San Antonio 72-66. We said it, and we've been saying it through the series, and we said it at the top of the game. If Tim Duncan doesn't play great, everybody thinks, not everybody, a lot of people think he's playing lousy. an average game for him is a game that's kind of quiet. You don't even notice it. And as we said at the top of the game, if they win the game, he's probably the MVP of the series.
Well, he's not only with the 20-plus points, but 11 rebounds. He made his foul shots tonight, Al, and that gave him a lot of confidence. He's picking out the good perimeter three-point shooters on the double team, so you can never underestimate the value of his assists when they hit those threes. Now, the big thing right now for San Antonio is you got to run clock, and then when you make your moves, go to your primetime guy. He's been on fire making solid decisions.
And whatever happens if San Antonio wins, just a tip of the cap to Ben Wallace, who has just been terrific.
Absolutely.
During the finals.
Yeah. I want to bring out a point. In the 3 games that Detroit won, at home, they won 2. They shot 46 and 47%. They came in here in Game 6 and shot 47%. That's why we said at the top of the show, can they duplicate shooting that high percentage and then making threes? Well, as we sit right now, they're shooting 41% from the floor, and they're still 1 for 9 in threes. They've been not able to make the shots tonight, Game 7.
There's a situation with timeouts. Detroit has a foul to give. San Antonio doesn't. Brent Barry will inbound in the front court.
There's still plenty of time here for Detroit, but they've got to get stops. Oh, there
what
it
a
is.
steal, and it's Ben Wallace
That's
again.
right.
Coming over to the sideline. He is everywhere. Another huge possession, and Phillips with a pull-up to drop it in to make it a 4-point game.
There you go now. Now it's your defense. Just use clock management is the key. For San Antonio, it must be high percentage shots, strong drives to the basket. Detroit, hold them to 1 shot attempt.
Duncan gets it inside. Rasheed Wallace is there. Rasheed Wallace backs it out of his hand, but got his arm as well and commits the foul, and that's going to be 5.
Well, they've been getting away throughout this series by trying to strip the ball on Duncan every time he makes that move. Just watch. See, they don't go for the block. They go for the strip right there. Now, the pressure's on Duncan to go to the line now and make the foul shots. Tonight, he's 4 for 4. In games 5 and 6, he was 9 for 21. He's answered the bell here tonight.
Tim Duncan trying to increase a 4-point lead with 62 seconds to play.
There you go.
You never know what you're going to get from him from the line in the playoffs. He was 15 for 15 one night. Followed that up with 3 for 12. Tonight, 5 for 5 in the ultimate crunch time game. One of 2. Ben Wallace gets the rebound, and Larry Brown calls an immediate timeout. 62 seconds. Okay, Detroit strategy. What do you think at this point?
The big thing right now is you want to get to the high percentage shots for your best guy. You prefer, if you can get off the dribble, get into the paint, make a strong move, either on a pass or a dribble. That way, if the shot does not go down, you get fouled. Now, we know that they are starving in three-point land. They don't need a 3. All they have to do is use clock management now and get high percentage looks. When you say that you're in a 5-point game, you know, the clock is in your favor, but you must answer defensively by holding San Antonio to 1 shot attempt. If you can force a turnover, great. If not, hold them to 1 shot attempt.
Through the playoffs this year, in the last 2 minutes of the 4th quarter, that's pretty good. The Spurs' opponents have not made a three-pointer, and San Antonio defends the 3 phenomenally well. They have all year long. Their opponents took by far the fewest three-point shots this year, and one of the reasons is, San Antonio puts an emphasis on defending the three-point shot.
Well, they're one of the quickest that we have in the league, Al, in foot speed, in closing you out on the perimeter. They run drills to them. Then they force you to put the ball on the floor because they are an excellent frontline rotation team with shot blocking.
Tayshaun Prince will inbound.
Now both teams are in the penalty right now. You're shooting the penalty. Detroit only has a 20-second time left.
Chauncey Billups, and he has it blocked way outside by Bowen.
Now that was an incredible defensive play.
Bowen charging, making the block. Under 40 to play. Ginobili. And that's going to make it a 3-possession game. Into the corner. Wallace bangs it home. Rasheed Wallace, 75-71 with 22.7. And you have to foul whoever gets it on the inbound play, and it happens to be Ginobili.
Well, San Antonio is happy. The right guy is going to the foul line for you. Keep an eye on Bowen. See, he times this perfectly. He has a major height advantage on Billups. And at this end, the alley opened up, and this is the wrong guy, because when Ginobili sees that, he's going. It's a big-time pressure shot by Rasheed. Now, going to the line, this is your only player throughout the season on your starting lineup that shot over 80% on the line. The other 4 guys were all in the 60s or lower.
Manu Ginobili makes the first. And the Spurs 22.1 seconds away from turning the Riverwalk into Margaritaville. Not that it wouldn't be anyway, but you get the idea. 6-point lead. Larry Brown takes his final timeout. And Larry Brown, and you can only hope, for those of us who know him, and he's been around for so long, that there are a lot of people who love him, that everything comes up real clean with him, and that he can go back and do what he loves and has been his life, and that's the coach.
33 years, Al, 29 years of winning records. That is unheard of at this level. That's a very difficult thing to do. He's coached at the college level, at UCLA and Kansas. He's coached 2 teams in the All-ABA, Carolina Cougars, and then Denver, and then he's coached in the NBA. He is one of the truly great teachers in the history of basketball.
6-point San Antonio lead. Detroit cannot stop the clock on a timeout. No fouls to give. Rasheed Wallace. In and out. Loose ball. Out of bounds. The officials check with each other. Spurs will get it.
Yeah, Detroit's all upset. They honestly thought it was off of San Antonio. Now, from our angle, you could not tell. Main thing right now, San Antonio will try to put out there their best ball handlers and also their height, the guys that they think will make the foul shot.
And Popovich takes a timeout. 18 seconds.
Yeah, well, they're challenging right now. They honestly thought that they had that possession. They would have had the ball with 18 seconds to go. Now, when Rasheed Wallace shoots this, it almost, that ball goes right off of the foot of Ben Wallace. So the referees are correct. Excellent call.
18 ticks.
Well, we said that San Antonio must get back to their defense that they put out in games 1 and 2. Well, with 6 minutes to go in that third quarter, we saw that old San Antonio tenacity come back. Because from that point on and out through this fourth quarter, Detroit has struggled to get a good look at a shot whether it was a jump shot or a drive to the basket.
They won it in '99. That was a shortened year because of the lockout. They won it 2 years ago against New Jersey. Now trying to do it again. (77-71). One benefit of that timeout. You inbound the ball in front court, and Duncan to send it in.
Detroit's got to go for the steal, and then they'll probably go for a quick foul, and then force the guy to make the foul shot.
And there's Ori, and they have to foul him, and Ben Wallace comes out to wrap him up and send him to the free throw line. So a series that started out with a rout in each game winds up with a classic Game 5, a great Game 6, and a hard-fought, tightly contested two-possession game at the moment. At the end, Ori has 13 points, 3 out of 4 from the free throw line. 74% career free throw shooter.
Well, Ori and Barry have really been outstanding off the bench. They made 3 threes between them, and now it's a total of 19 points, with Robert being the main man. But Ginobili has 21 points here, very quietly, Al, with the 5 rebounds and the 4 assists. He's done an excellent job, especially in the second half, to back up Duncan's production.
And Ori has 15 points, and then Hamilton will go in and get fouled, so they give him a chance for a 3-point play of all things there.
Now that's a bad foul. Popovich is shaking his head. What are we doing? You make this foul shot right now, you're back down into a 5-point ball game. Big thing now, get out. Do not assume that there'll be any kind of a timeout. San Antonio has 1 20-second timeout left. So what you do, if you make this now, you line up, you go for the steal, you do not get the steal, you foul immediately, and hope that only 1 second goes off the clock.
That was the 4th foul on Parker. Those were Hamilton's first points of the period. The ball is thrown all the way down court, and Ginobili will pass up what would have been a layup to run out some of the clock with 7 seconds.
Now that was a heady play by Ginobili. Ginobili had his man face guarding him, and he made a move to the ball towards the baseline, stopped, and went long. Excellent pass.
And then the presence of mind to run around a little bit, take a couple of more seconds off. He knows he's going to go to the free throw line. He's a good free throw shooter. And this would be the total dagger here because it would make it a 3-possession game at 80-74. It is 81-74. And the San Antonio Spurs with tough defense, and Tim Duncan answering a lot of questions and erasing any doubt about coming up big when you have to come up big. And for the 3rd time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions. Depart. Popovich and Ginobili. Tim Duncan. Larry looking for Tim Duncan. the Spurs win their third championship. Tim Duncan is the favorite with the announcement to come in the next few minutes to win his third Finals MVP award.
Well, he had to step up big. He did right from the get-go. He was struggling with his shot, but then when they needed it in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, he shot the high percentage. The rebounding was there, the shot blocking, and then his decisions on the double team. He made the right choices, and they followed it up by making the long threes.
And the Spurs, a team a lot of people thought would win it all, had one of those years like every team has. You don't go wire to wire. You have your moments, your ups and your downs, but they finish on top, and we go to Michelle.
All right, I'm with Manu Ginobili. Another big game. Oh, my gosh. I mean, what a year. You get married, you win a gold medal at the Olympics, you sign a new contract, now you win another NBA championship. How do you put this into words, Manu?
You don't want to make me cry, right? I'm unbelievably happy. I couldn't be happier. I need another body to feel it. It's just an unbelievable feeling. I'm so proud of being part of this team, this franchise, and this town. I love it.
I know a lot of your family from Argentina is here. How special is that?
Oh, I saw them hugging each other, kissing each other. I just would like to be hugging them too.
This game was so close. It turned in the third quarter when you guys seemed to clamp down on defense. Manu, what changed at that moment?
Yeah, it was indeed. Then Tim started to play really aggressive, and they started to draw double team. Thank you. And everybody started double team, and we find open spots.
There were moments in this game, Manu, when I saw you urging the crowd to get loud. I mean, I've never seen you as passionate as you were in this game. What was going through your mind?
We needed it. We needed it. We needed that energy that the crowd gave us. So it was imperative for us to do that. Okay, I got it.
Okay, wait. Then I'm going to go to Robert Horry. I've got Robert Horry, too. Robert, number 6, man. How does it compare?
It's wonderful. It's up there because, you know, third team I won a championship with. I'm playing with a bunch of great guys. It's the best. You know, that's the only reason I wanted to come back here was to try to win another championship, and this team is wonderful.
I asked you before the game if you had said anything to your teammates about a Game 7 situation. You said, I don't need to. I know these guys. What did you know that maybe other people didn't?
Because there's so much experience on this team. All the guys who started 7 nines won championship. Even though they didn't go 7 games, they still got the confidence to go out and get the job done.
These two teams were so closely matched. I mean, you guys, especially the last few games, what do you think was the single biggest difference tonight?
Tonight, turnovers. We didn't turn the ball over like we did in all the other games. We took care of the ball, we got some pressure, we got great shots.
Congratulations, Robert. Let's send it back to Al.
Thank you, Michelle. 81-74 is the final score. Popovich has just won his third NBA title. He becomes one of 5 coaches to win 3 or more. The Larry O'Brien Trophy to be presented and the MVP award when we come back to San Antonio. The ceremony now, and Stan Kelly at the PA mic.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the 2005 Larry O'Brien Trophy!
Congratulations, San Antonio. Time for another fiesta down the Riverwalk. To award the third championship trophy in 7 years to the world champion San Antonio Spurs, the commissioner of the NBA, David Stern.
The Detroit Pistons were a worthy champion and gave it a good defense with pride, with passion, and with no quit. But these San Antonio Spurs, a most international of teams, showed our global audience in 205 countries that this series belonged to the 2005 NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. Congratulations to Peter and Juliana Holt, to this extraordinary team, and to the city of San Antonio. Here's the trophy.
Juliana, I guess this doesn't get old. It has to feel even better this time.
I could hear you.
I guess this never gets old. It has to feel better this time, I'm sure.
Oh, gosh, it never gets old. We're going to keep on doing it, too. Keep on doing it, San Antonio Spurs.
Congratulations. Let's bring up Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich, head coach. Pop has disappeared on us. Where is Greg? He is the 5th coach to win the NBA championship 3 times. Here comes Coach Popovich. Greg, I'm sure this series was in many ways difficult because of your friendship with Larry, but it has to be so sweet with what the team has gone through and how you've come through another era with this team and won a championship.
Well, number one, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for Larry Brown. He's the best. And secondly, we just played a great team. I don't know how the hell we did it, but I'm thrilled. Thank you all very much.
Greg Popovich, the 5th coach in NBA history to win 3 NBA titles. Now we'll bring Commissioner Stern back up here for the presentation of the Most Valuable Player trophy.
20 points a game, 14 rebounds a game, and a lot of intangibles that demonstrate his heart. It is my pleasure to present the Most Valuable Player trophy to none other than Tim Duncan. Where are you?
Tim Duncan, the trophy is a new model, but it's the 3rd one you'll have, which is pretty select company. Magic, Jordan, Shaq, and you. 3-time MVPs of the NBA Finals. First, your thoughts on this series and how tough Game 7 was for this team.
This trophy is definitely an honor, but this team has so many MVPs. There's so many different guys here just laid it on the line. Bruce, Manu, Tony, these guys just laid it on the line every night, and we couldn't have made this far without any one of them, so every one of them's an MVP.
Tim, you played in Game 5 with great heart, and tonight, after people asked for more Tim Duncan, more from Tim Duncan, to do things out of your personality, you dominated the second half of this game. How personally did you take things that were said coming into this game?
I didn't listen to anything that was said. I know what I wanted to do for myself, for my teammates. I wanted to come out here and give my best effort. And things didn't go well at some times, but I pushed through everything. They continued to feed me the ball, and things happened.
Obviously, David Robinson was such a great part of the first 2. The cast has changed slightly, yet you're back at the top of the mountain. Being the leader of this team, is it any sweeter to win this championship?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We fought for this thing. This is such a long year for us. Guys fought so hard. 7-game series. Guys showed up tonight. It was incredible.
The MVP of the NBA Finals, Tim Duncan. Send it back to Al Michaels.
Thank you, Mike Tirico. Tim Duncan, a trophy in each hand. The O'Brien in one, the MVP in the other. 3 times that's happened now. 1999, 2003, 2005. The San Antonio Spurs, the champions of the NBA. 2 of the last 3, Detroit the other. The last 2 champions meeting and fittingly go to a 7th game, the first 7th game of the NBA Finals in 11 years. And tight it was just about all the way, with the Spurs pulling away at the end, limiting Detroit to 35 points in the second half. Home court prevails again. You know, Yubi, a lot of things obviously you can think about and put your finger on and all that. But a couple of years ago, San Antonio wins, and everybody says, well, they're a team. No individual bigger than the other. Detroit wins last year, beat the Lakers. You know, it's that old thing about work ethic and all that. And you get it again this year. So your last three champions fit that mold.
Well, you just love it because you have two class organizations in this final. They are run with nothing but the best professionalism from top to bottom. By that we mean management, coaching staff, the players, and then the star players. Everyone just fits in like a glove. Everything is about teamwork. Everything is about unselfishness. And you just love to see it. Unfortunately, tonight, Detroit just came up short. They just shot a poor percentage. And then at the other end, Ginobili and Duncan stepping up and playing a magnificent second half under pressure.
And David Stern acknowledging Detroit right off the bat, and you have to, playing with tremendous heart, beating Miami after being down 3-2, coming back into this series after they were down 2 games to none. Let's go over to Michelle Tafoya.
All right, guys, I'm with Tony Parker, who's holding the trophy. How did you get a hold of this?
Man, I always like the trophy. I want to kiss it. I'm happy it's back in San Antonio.
How do you say NBA champions in French?
Champion NBA.
What's going through your mind, Tony? Third quarter, you guys really start to turn it around defensively and with the rebounding. Pop sort of said, if you guys defend and get the glass, you can run the offense on your own.
Exactly. That's why we try to focus all night, try to play defense and stick with it. That's how we at our best. You know, we make stops and then we can get some easy points in transition. And even when they got that lead in the third quarter, we keep playing defense and it helped us great tonight.
You know, Tim Duncan said a lot of MVPs on this team. He named about 4 of you. But what about Tim Duncan's play tonight? How changed was he?
Tim came out huge today. He was very focused this morning, and he came out and he played like an MVP. He carried us in the third quarter when we were struggling, and he made his free throws tonight. That was huge.
When you compare this to the last championship you guys won, how does it compare? Is it fair to compare?
It's hard to compare because it's so different. You know, the first time it's all new for us. You know, I was coming from France, Manu from Argentina, and we win. And now we knew all the pressure we had, and to do it again is just unbelievable. It's like the confirmation. It's great.
Confirmation, you rose to the pressure. Congratulations.
Bonjour à toute la France, les gars.
In any language, thank you, Michelle. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions. 81, 74, 74 points, the lowest ever in a Game 7 in the finals in the shot clock era. Back we come to San Antonio after this.
Back here in San Antonio, incrementally it's gotten tougher. They beat the Knicks in 5. In 2003, the Nets in 6. And tonight, in 7, the decisive game, the San Antonio Spurs, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, as the commissioner said, the most international collection of players the NBA has. Robert Horry, his 6th trophy. 3rd time that this team is the NBA champions. A reminder coming up from most of you, your late local news, followed by Nightline and Jimmy Kimmel Live here in San Antonio. KSAT Channel 12 will have full coverage of the celebration. And if you want to continue our coverage, we'll be over on ESPN Sports Center in a couple of minutes. Final thoughts. Let's go you first, Greg.
Well, for me, you know, the beauty of the playoffs in a 7-game series is there is no ifs. And the best team always wins. And the San Antonio Spurs were the best team. Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Robert Horry led them as they had to. They put on a truly spectacular performance in that second half.
How appropriate in the city of last stands and lost causes. San Antonio, against all odds, with everything going against them, they come back. The appreciation of just how hard this really is. You can see the happiness just overflowing the way they all embraced. But you know you've really got a game when you come out and you beat a team that's bigger and stronger and tougher and rougher than you did. But go to Tim Duncan, who changed everything. Manu Ginobili, the most remarkably creative player, joins Pippen, Russell, and Jordan, Olympics and the NBA Finals. Brent Barry, I've known him since he was a baby. The guy just so happy now with his dad, with his mom. And then Robert Horry, just the king. He did it all. This is so special. This will change their lives forever. Nothing left to do but smile, smile, smile.
Mel Counts is the other one, the 5 men who've won Olympic gold and then come back with an NBA title. I had to correct you one last time. Thank you, guys. Wonderful season. And our colleague Steve Snapper Jones recuperating back in Oregon, and for the women and men of ESPN ABC who've been a part of this great season. Thanks to everyone. One final time, back to Al Michaels. Al?
Thank you very much, Mike. And we're going to go right now to Stuart Scott, who's with Larry Brown.
Coach Brown, you guys were trying to win a championship in a way no team ever had. You came up just short. What happened tonight?
Well, they played great. You know, you got to give them credit. They made shots. You know, Horry, Ginobili, they did a great job. Pop had them really ready to play, and I thought Duncan was spectacular as well. And you know, better team won. You know, that was, we got it to 7 games, and we had a chance, got a lead, and kind of got a little careless, got the crowd back into the game, and then they made plays, and that's what, you know, we did in the games we won, and that's what they did in the games they won.
Before this series started, you said that your kids even told you, because you were playing Greg Popovich, your kids said it's a win-win. What did you say to him when you saw him after the game?
Oh, he was busy thanking me, but I just told him how proud I was of what he's done, what he's been to this game, and how his team's played. You know, it's a credit to him. It's great for our league. You know, I thought these were 2 teams that, you know, exemplify the good things in the NBA. That's why I feel good about the future of this league. And his teams, you know, play the right way like we did last year. And I'm proud of my guys. You know, they.
What'd you say to them in there?
No, it was hard to say very much, but I'm proud of them. You know, we accepted it when we won, and you know, we'll accept it with the loss here. But I'm just as proud this year as I was last year. Doesn't change a thing, and you know, I've been very fortunate to be around these guys, and it's made me better, and I think it's made our game better.
One of the biggest storylines has been your future, whether or not you're going to coach this team next year. I know you're going to the Mayo Clinic next week. In a perfect world, what will you hear there?
Well, a lot of people have a lot of worse things than me. In a perfect world, I hope I'll be able to come back and give Joe an answer. I want to come back and coach. I still feel like I can add to the game and help players. But, you know, I don't know. I've been fortunate enough to get through this year, and it was a wonderful experience. And if I don't come back, you know, it'll be for the right reasons, and, you know, hopefully I'll do some good in some other areas.
About how long do you think it'll be until you decide?
I don't know. I hope I get a quick answer one way or another. I'm just not going to live the same way I lived since November 3rd. You know, that's been hard for me and my family. But I'm hopeful. You know, things always have a way of working out for me. And if it's meant to be, I'll be there. If not, I get to spend more time with my wife and kids. And that's not so bad.
Coach, tell you what, if you look up the word class in the dictionary, you're going to see a picture of you smiling. Right. We appreciate it. Congratulations. Still congratulations.
Thank you.
Al?
And thank you, Stuart. Our very best, obviously, to Coach Brown. We're all thinking about him. And there's Rip Hamilton in the locker room. And over here, you started the season coaching the Grizzlies.
Yeah, right.
And my good fortune is that you ended coaching me. It's been a slice of heaven.
Well,
loved it.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, man.
It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
We've had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And it ends in the 7th game. And our great crew, led by Ed Fibershoff and Drew Esikoff and George Hill, Steve Hurt, Vinny Rayo, Melissa Horton, the whole gang on our ABC Sports crew. And we're going to wrap it up from San Antonio, where the Spurs won the championship 81-74 in Game 7. Al Michaels for UB Brown, Michelle Tafoya, and Stuart